All right, welcome to day 5 of figuring out how I'm going to basically live in Bali, because I've got 2 months until I go bankrupt. And yeah, like, long story short, I guess I was a fitness coach when I first came to Bali. I still am a little bit, coaching a couple guys. And a few months ago now, I started to feel like this wasn't the vehicle that I wanted to be in. It just wasn't the business that I wanted to build. And so I started to have thoughts about what I could do next. And I've had loads of different, I guess, ideas since then. And I've tried a bunch of stuff out and nothing has really felt aligned. And some people will say, no, you don't need alignment. You just need to fucking do the volume and eventually the alignment will come. But I rely on intuition a lot. I meditate very often, and if something doesn't feel right in my gut, if something doesn't feel right, I often won't do it. And I've kind of tuned this intuition over time because I've tried to surround my subconscious, I guess, or absorb great information into my subconscious so that the decisions that I make when I'm in an elevated emotional state are of decent quality. And this whole process of becoming more aligned and kind of forgetting about the material world in some sense, even though I think obviously money is important, and is a tool, I'm not very material minded. And so because I have 2 months left to make some income so that I can survive out here, or wherever, to be honest, because I don't know if I'm going to stay here, I started to think about money quite a lot. And it was like, how am I going to make money? How am I going to make money? And at the start of this month, I was quite curious about AI and automations. And so I joined this community and I started learning about how I can do some work there. And I think for me, I learn by doing. I can't just watch videos. And so I was like, okay, let's just jump onto Upwork, see if I can get a gig. I got a couple gigs. I started learning about AI and automations and I started applying it. And then that's what's fueling my learning. But then because I've been doing this freelancing, the initial idea for me was like, fuck, like maybe I just need to start this AI automation agency. And then I was like thinking about that and I was like, okay, let me start doing cold emails to recruitment consultancies because I have landed a project with a recruitment consultant. And so it makes sense to use that learning and then apply it to other businesses. But then something happened where I just didn't feel motivated. I just didn't feel like, fuck, this is something I want to do. And it wasn't like I was trying to rely on motivation to do the work because I'm very comfortable doing something that I don't want to do. For example, this YouTube video I've been posting for the last 4 or 5 days, and yes, okay, I enjoy talking in front of the camera and I actually enjoy creating YouTube videos, but often just before I start filming, I don't really want to do it, and I'm happy to confront that. But with this automation thing, I just didn't feel passionate about selling it. And I feel like if you are trying to sell a product and you're not passionate about the product that you're selling, if you're not thinking about it all the time, then it's like, is it really worth it? And yesterday I kind of had a go at myself and I was like, no, you need to just lock in. And then today I was like, okay, fuck it. Like, I'm not even going to do any work. I'm just going to take a breather. And I just went for a walk, a very long walk. I stopped for a coffee. I started reading a book, and as I was reading this book, and interestingly enough, it was Stephen Bartlett's book, and he started talking about how we only have limited time. We only have a finite amount of time before we die. And he talks about how he has sand timers on his desk and at home and at work, and how that actually guides a lot of his decision making because it actually forces him to focus on the most meaningful things, the things that are most important to him. And those things are going to be very different for him and me and anyone else, you as well. And as I was reading it, I was having these thoughts about like why I'm not working and why I'm not feeling motivated to work, why I'm not feeling motivated to go and reach out to people about this business that I'm trying to build. And this is literally like within the first few weeks, and like this is the honeymoon phase. This is the time where like I should be all in and it shouldn't be boring. And as I read those words about the sand timer and about how I'm going to die and about how like we only have this short life, and how we don't conceptualize time as this finite resource, it really, really made me reflect on what I'm doing at the moment and whether this pursuit, and the thing is, I haven't really like invested a lot of resources into it, to be honest, so it doesn't really matter if I kind of pivot right now, right? There's like, I haven't got like hired employees, I haven't invested loads of time into understanding, and I've learned the skill. That's the thing, I've learned like a decent amount of skill about AI and automation. Like I've put hours into learning about Make.com and N8N, and I have an understanding of like how it can be used for other businesses, that now maybe there is something else that I can put my energy into. And I think it's interesting because I recently applied for this job with Stephen himself, and it's for the head of community role. And I think it's a great role, and I think there's actually a massive opportunity there for other creators to also create communities and create events that are offline, because people have these big audiences, or people have these digital communities. But as we have become a bit more of an individualized society, people are feeling lonelier than ever. People are craving in-person connection. People are craving this real-life experience that we haven't had for the last few years, because everything has become so digital. Everyone's just on their phones the whole time, right? And so I applied for this job because I saw the job description, and it talked about, having experience managing events. And this is something that I've done for the last 10 years. I love organizing and delivering real life events. Actually, it's something that is a big passion of mine that only occurred to me recently. And so having reflected on that, I was like, oh my God. And it was being unplugged, going for a walk, reading this book that allowed me to come to the conclusion that actually the thing that I want to do, the thing that actually aligns with me and who I want to be, and the thing that I want to build, is creating offline experiences with creators. Like, I'm really interested in the creator economy. Like, I've been trying to post on YouTube for the last 5 years. And so even in that, I understand the dynamics of it. I understand, even though I'm not maybe very good at audience building, I understand the value in building an audience. And maybe it's because I haven't been that consistent, I haven't been able to build that audience. But the point that I'm trying to make is, like, I really, really see the importance of creators and independent people on social media. And so it makes sense for me to then have them as my clients. And because I have over 10 years experience working with events in my hobbies, and I've done workshops, I've done camps, I've done festivals, I've done music nights, I've done sporting sessions, I've done all these different things. I've done balls at university, I've done smaller events like gigs and stuff like that. So I think that actually means that have a unique advantage when it comes to actually helping creators organize events, because creators might be really good at building an audience online, but are they actually that good at putting on an offline experience that is memorable, that creates this emotional effect, that is serving the purpose of why the event was created? And that's where I can come in and help. And so I've completely changed what I want to do, I guess. Well, I've realized what I want to do in this morning, and the purpose of the video is to tell you this story so that you can maybe find a bit more clarity in your life, because I think the components that you need in order to find clarity are being unplugged and going for a walk, or doing some meditation, or just not having all this noise and not being so engrossed in the work that you're doing, and just taking some time to pause and reflect and think and be like, okay, how can I use the skills that I have to serve? Okay? And I think we often get so stuck in the things that we're doing, we think that that is the only thing that we should be doing. But sometimes it actually is important to pause, reflect, reassess, and be like, okay, I've been doing this, but is it actually keeping me on path to where I want to be and where I want to go? Is it feeling in alignment? Am I just doing it because I feel like I have to do it? And when you ask these questions, And he talks about this lady, I can't remember her name, in the book, This is Stephen. He talks about this lady, and she basically says, she's like this doctor that spent loads of time with people on their deathbed, and the one regret is, for the most common regret among people on their deathbed is that they spent less time than they should have doing the things that they truly wanted to do. And I guess this is a message to all of you that, like, if there is something that you really, really want to do, and you're waking up and you're kind of rolling out of bed, but you don't feel excited, or you're not feeling like super motivated, and you're not feeling like, wow, this is a mission that I like really want to work towards, then it's not really worth it. And in order to find the thing and find the clarity that you're looking for, I think, from my experience, it's really, really important to just take some time away from what you're doing. And it might even just be half a day, like me today, like this whole day. I didn't log onto my laptop once. I literally just went for a walk, no music. I didn't look at my phone, no podcast. And I just allowed my thoughts to unravel. And then through that unraveling and also the trigger of the book, I just came up with this whole idea, and it kind of came out of nowhere from my subconscious. And I think, look, I've done a lot of meditation, I've done some breath work, I've trained really hard, and so through the last like 5 years of effort in that domain, it's allowed me to be easily tap into that alignment, but it still is important for me to actually step back and put my head in the clouds so that I can tap into the thing that is true to me. And to be honest, maybe there's definitely going to be more work for me to do in that domain. I'm not saying that I'm a fucking monk and I'm just completely aligned all the time, but I think it's just I want to highlight the fact that it's not like I woke up today and I had this sudden strike of lightning and like revelation and epiphany. It was like, no, this is like work that takes time, but then because I was unplugged today, I was able to tap back into that state where I feel more aligned. And so yeah, if you're struggling to find clarity, then think about how much time that you're spending doing things, and think about the amount of time that you're being stimulated. And if it is 99% of the time, then maybe taking some time away from the things that you're doing, on your own, pondering, contemplating, then you're going to put yourself in a better position to find that clarity that you're looking for. Anyway, I'm going to be, over the next, I guess now that I feel a bit more clear in my vision, I'm going to keep doing these daily updates, but I'm also going to sprinkle in some value about how to build communities, how to run events, how to bring people together. I'm going to go on this journey, and so yeah, I'm going to show both sides. I'm not going to only talk about that because I know that there's people out there that are like, you should niche down, and yeah, my service is going to be niched, but then I think the things that I can talk about can be a little bit more broad, because you know what, I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm intrinsically motivated to make these videos for some reason, and I don't want to just start doing things for other reasons, because I think for me, I've got to keep things fun and enjoyable, and that's what makes it fun. So I hope this helps you find clarity in your life, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Peace.